morning.
Morning.
Welcome to Young County Commissioners Court. We'll call this meeting to order, regular meeting of the Young County Commissioners Court, Monday, June the 11th, 2018. It is 9:33 a.m. We'll make note that this meeting has been posted in the manner and for the time required, and that with the exception of Commissioner Pruitt, all other members of the court are present. If it's convenient, please rise. Please lead invocation and the pledge to our flag. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day and for all the many blessings that you bring to us. We're grateful for this country, for this state, for this county. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to serve those citizens who placed us in their trust. We ask your blessings upon all of those members of our military and law enforcement activities who stand in harm's way and protect the rights and freedoms that we know. Whether those threats come from foreign sources or domestic sources. We're grateful for all those that have served and that do serve and that will ever serve. We ask your blessings upon this meeting and upon the things that we come to decide here, that they be according to your will and in the best interest of those whom we serve. And in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Please be seated. If it pleases the court, we'll jump down right off the bat here before we approve the minutes to item number 16. Would that please the court?
That would be great.
Wayne has made a plea to me to be here because he had something he needed to do. Item number 16 is discuss and consider Young County Rural Volunteer Fire Department proposal for improving emergency communications for Young County and the Murray area of the county. Mr. Wayne Peters, step on up here and state your name.
I'm Wayne Peters. I'm the chief of the Young County Rural Volunteer Fire Department. That's who I'm representing today. For years, we've had a problem with radio communication in the northwest and the southwest and northeast parts of the county because of the narrow banding and because of the terrain. We recently got the tower running up at Loving, and it's seamless. I mean, it's working really good. We had trucks parked side by side on the fire. One was talking on the Loving tower and one was talking on the Graham tower. You couldn't tell. I mean, you could talk to each other, you didn't know. And so we really got that covered except for the Prado Valley, and I don't think there's anybody ever going to get that. But back in December when we had the high gain antenna already purchased and coax for the Loving tower, we used it temporarily on our ladder truck, and we put it on the site where the Murray Fire Department had built a new building. And they don't have enough ground there to put a conventional guide tower. It's just not big enough. So we figured we could do a freestanding tower, and I put a 50-foot ladder up, put an antenna on it, and if you look at the maps that are in that packet, we did some testing, and all of the red dots that are on that map, did it come out in color?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, the red dots were, we were able to talk from our ladder truck on that 50-foot tower to handheld radios. And the yellow dots, well, we were not able to talk on handheld radios, but we were able to talk on mobile truck mounted radios. There's some places that we call that are not on that map, but it really didn't matter. They could be called all the way up to the Throckmorton Airport. And so everywhere we tested, it worked. And so we felt like that'd be a good option to finally get coverage for practically everywhere in the county. And so we're asking for $25,000. That will include the tower itself, the erection of the tower, the radio room that will be built inside of the new Murray Fire Station, and it will include link radios for both the sheriff's office and the county fire department, and repeaters for both. So that's what I'm asking.
I would say that the one at Loving that they put up has made a big difference as far as reception wise.
You say what?
The one at Loving, it's up and going. It makes a big difference in that area. You can go, I imagine you can go all the way up to 281 to Y.
I don't know. I talked from Holiday.
Yeah, you can talk from Holiday on the mobile, but you can, on the handheld, up there where the Matlocks live, you can talk on a handheld from the Matlocks place there, which is the other side, over into Archie County, all the way back to Graham.
And you can't tell in Graham who's talking on what tower unless you ask them.
That's
I
right.
mean, it's seamless. Dispatchers don't even know what channel they're calling in.
Well, these mobile towers seem to have solved a problem that we've been looking at for quite a while here at this court.
Yeah.
As to what we do about towers.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about entering into long-term, high-dollar contracts with other towers and what have you, but thanks to you guys, y'all are finding some reasonable, economical solutions to this thing. So the difference in this tower and the last tower we paid for is that previously there was some stuff already paid for
Yes,
in that last tower.
yes.
This will be an antenna similar to or like the one you've got in
Be
Loving?
identical to the antenna. It will be 60 foot tall instead of 89 like at Loving. And when we did this survey, we were at 50 foot. So the permanent tower will be actually 10 foot taller. So we'll get a little bit. I was impressed with one handheld they talked in from the Eliasville Bridge at the dam on a handheld. Now that's the lowest place you're gonna find over there.
Yeah.
And all down through Murray Cemetery, that road goes, and we could talk this road across McAfee.
We've got the sheriff here this morning. Sheriff, you got anything to say about this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be great. So far, it's been working good. I can't see any problems setting one up in Murray. I think that would help us tremendously.
So we kind of lift that cloud that we've got there now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cell phones don't even work up there, you know.
Yeah. Kind of like a dead zone.
Wayne, you're asking for 25,000, but half of that's for the sheriff's department.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Almost 12,000, I believe.
11,250.
yeah, and we've got, well, we didn't have the opportunity before to put a tower down there, but we didn't own the property. And now then, Murray Volunteer Fire Department owns the property where they're at now.
But if the conversation I had with Wayne, that's a one-time deal, though.
Yeah, there won't be a monthly rent or utility bill or anything like that.
Is there any annual inspections need to be done to that tower?
No, if it's 205 foot tall, you do, but we're not gonna be there.
And over 180 feet, you have to have victims on it. You wouldn't have to have any victims on it.
Yeah.
How much do we have in contingency?
And the other thing I was gonna say, we got access to a huge tower right now, and I don't know how long that'll be on the market. We can still get it for $1,500, but, you know, that could sell tonight.
Yeah. Just have to go to the surplus place?
A freestanding tower?
Freestanding tower, yeah. Of course, we had to dig a 10 foot deep hole, and it takes a massive amount of concrete, but,
Right.
Well, that's our.
It's the wrong 25. The wrong 25.
no, it's a freestanding tower. It's a triangle.
Oh, it's the big one now. Oh,
Yeah.
There's about.
Yeah. I guess it's tripod mount?
Yeah, tripod.
59,000 or something. Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, it's like what's behind the sheriff's office.
I don't, how tall is that one? Do we
I
know?
can't remember how tall it is.
I'm close to 50 at least.
Hey, it looked to me like 50
Yeah.
foot, but I don't know.
It's what?
It's right 50
Yeah, I
foot.
think it's more than 50, but I'm not.
That's just the tower, that's not counting the extension with the antenna and stuff, so.
Well, I understand that $25,000 is a lot of money, but seeing it in the light of increasing the safety of the officers, the communication, the fire department, the safety of our residents, it seems like we should try to find that money to do that at this time with everything available to us at this moment, so.
We got that in contingency fund. That's what that's for, is the stuff that comes up that we don't.
That we didn't plan for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can secure the tower for sure.
What kind of wind rating is that tower going to have?
I think it was 120, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 120, if you had, like 6 square feet of,
Concrete.
yeah.
You know, it's the same concept that they use on these wind towers. That's all it's holding it up, it's concrete.
Block of concrete?
Yeah, placed in there.
Yeah, but it's a massive block of concrete.
Yeah.
It is.
350 yards,
450?
350.
That's only 450.
Are they?
Yeah, we don't have to have that much.
Don't need that.
And we'd certainly be, I'd rather have somebody like Commissioner Pruitt come by and we're spending money to make sure we're spending money right.
That's good.
He could probably dig it with his backhoe, too. He could probably dig that hole with his backhoe.
I'm hoping we can work some deal like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lots of money right here at the end of the year.
A lot of money anytime. But I'm really of the opinion it's money that should be spent.
Yeah. Help law enforcement, help fire department both.
I'd just take one operator lease.
That's all it takes.
Somebody give up that operator lease, it's gonna be some bad.
Take one job out of the county somewhere and do that.
I wasn't inclined that we ought to do that.
I understand. I don't think the judge was either. He was trying to make a point. I would move that we approve and go forward with this project.
Second that.
To pay out of contingency.
Pay that contingency.
Who made the second?
Money be taken where?
Out of contingency,
How much would we have?
It's 59,000.
Let's get about half of it. Split that between SO and Sheriff's Department.
they do what?
SO and Fire Department.
That's the department.
Well, they
This
don't,
is gonna be a strictly a Sheriff's Department expenditure, or is it gonna be an additional contribution to
What?
the Fire Department?
Go the way it's broken down right here.
we can key them in like that out of contingency.
You can divide it up to each one of them.
50/50? Yes. Out of contingency, 50/50 SO and fire department.
The Sheriff's Department doesn't have any money in their budget left.
No, not like that.
Good try, Stacy.
Yeah, we don't have anything either. We're pushing it for the end of this year.
It's coming to ask for more, right?
We're gonna pray it's gonna keep raining, keep things green.
But this is a future investment. So.
Oh, yeah. You know, if it saves one life, it's worth every penny.
So as we say, I mean, it's not only law enforcement and volunteer, it's gonna be, it could save anybody's life. We, have a medical emergency out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just think if you're out there and have to look for somebody that's walked off, you're gonna be on the handheld anyway, that way you can communicate.
So we've got a motion by Commissioner Sykes on the table
Any more discussion with regard to that? We would need a second to act on that.
I've already seconded.
This would be to add $25,000 or to take $25,000 from our contingency fund. And if I understood right, equally divided
Equally divided?
between adding additional monies in the sheriff's department and dispatch.
Well,
You probably need to do dispatch on it, because that's where it's.
yeah, but we probably won't get reimbursement for that.
Did he say dispatch or did I leave that part off?
I can pay it out of that dispatch line and move it out of contingency over there.
What kind of issues that gonna make on,
But we won't send, I mean, we can send it to the city, they won't reimburse it. But we
You know, you
won't,
pick and choose what to do
we
there.
won't send it in.
They don't need any radio tower out of Murray.
No.
equally divide,
I don't know. The two bills in here are like $20,597. So the other money, is that gonna be for something else?
Oh, it's for the tower and the erection materials for the,
Other than these two bills?
yeah,
that we
there
signed?
should be a cover there.
Oh, okay.
There is the cost breakdown there, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
That one, okay.
now that's motion by Commissioner Sipes, second is by Commissioner Wiley, to divide equally from the county contingency fund, $25,000, it'd be $12,500 each to increase the SO dispatch. I guess it's gonna be the dispatch. By $12,500, and Young County Rural Volunteer Fire Department by
Move it in that
$12,500.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? If it will solve the ills and concerns of the communication systems that we've been dealing with for the last 4, 5, or 10 years, it will be very well worth the money. What's saying? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's a 4 and a no.
Get it done.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all.
Go back to that cotton, JD.
I'm not really understanding that. You said
Let's
that
order that tower.
split it 50-50 out of the sheriff's department and the fire department.
Contingency.
It's out of contingency.
Contingency. Sheriff's Department / dispatch.
Half of it's going to the dispatch, half of it's going to the
Oh.
rural fire department.
Oh,
So I'll move it from those lines into those, Shirley.
okay, got that.
And I can give you those exact lines
Thank
to
you.
it.
And that is for radio interoperability.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, public comments, announcements, presentations. These are no action items. We'll have one on Chris, if you'll come forward up here. He's called me, I don't know, quite some time ago. I met him one time, I think. He has the, I guess you aggregated the electrical contract in the city of Graham. For some other counties around. He called me and wanted to present his program to us. Tell us what he can do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for having me. I do have some information to hand out, just go through it real quickly. So my name is Chris Watson. The company that I work for, the company's name is Five. Just number 5. Just like to keep it simple, but our company, we started about 6.5 years ago. It was actually the executive team that ran First Choice Power. First Choice Power was fourth largest supplier in the state. They turned that company around and it's sold to Direct Energy, another supplier like TXU, Reliant, and other ones like that. And so we decided to start an advisory firm. And the reason for that is out there in the electricity market since deregulation, you have on one side all the suppliers, the big, names TXU, Reliant, Green Mountain, JEXA, things like that. And then on the other side, you have brokers in the space. And the good and bad thing about our industry is that there is literally no barrier to entry. So someone that wants to sell equipment on Monday and vitamins on Tuesday can turn around and sell electricity on Wednesday. And we just saw a big gap in the middle where we thought that we could bring a lot of expertise and experience from the supplier side, really the DNA of a big supply company, but bring it to the end user at the end of the day. And so that's why the company started. Since then, we've helped a little over 100 government entities in the state. I personally work with a lot of the school districts and counties and cities, including the city of Graham, for our company. And so that's kind of where we've evolved from and where we are today. The information here, just some background on our company, I kind of covered there on that second page. The third page, this is just some information on the partners that started our firm. The only thing I like to point out here is kind of, as I mentioned, we essentially have the DNA of the supplier. So some of these gentlemen are past presidents and VPs of some of the largest supply companies in the country, really led the way, like Constellation New Energy led the way for deregulation. We also have individuals that are engineers and supply they watch the markets. Eric Platis, he really put together a lot of the intelligence behind how suppliers really build a price out and things like that. So a lot of different areas of expertise, but we like to bring that to our clients. The fourth page, really, it just highlights a lot of the awards that we've won along the way. We're big on culture at our company, and the only reason I like to point that out is we believe if you have happy employees, that translates to good customer service to the clients. Typically, you kind of have companies that get fastest growing or most profitable, things like that, and then you have best places to work. We've won a lot of the awards across both sides, and so we're very proud of that. The fifth page here, service offerings. This is, I like to point this out because most people in our space, it's really just, here's a price, here's a contract, sign it, talk to you 3-4 years from now. And we really wanted to change that dynamic. We believe that customers deserve better. And so this is just kind of a snippet of types of things that we do for our clients, everything from budget forecasting every year for the county to helping on any questions with bills. I mean, we get the most random things like the city. We help them actually out at the arena and looking at what they were spending on for electricity for different events that were going on throughout the year at the arena. To different counties that we had even looked at 2 different proposals for one city actually that was looking at 2 different types of golf carts and which one would be more efficient, because one used less electricity to charge it up than another one, and we looked at those performance. So really, we always like to tell our clients, anything energy related, that's what we're there for. Come to us at any time. The next page, page 6, I do like to give you all a little bit of information, at least a high-level overview of what's going on in the market, and this is just directly because of feedback that we've gotten from clients. The feedback we've been told is, look, we had a supplier call us or a broker call us and they say, hey, sign this 3, 4, 5-year contract because we say so. And they never really spend the time of saying, hey, here's what's going on in the market and here's what y'all should do because of these reasons. So y'all are in a good spot right now. You're out till about a year left on your contract. So, of course, the big question is, why would we even be looking at things right now? And this market information will kind of hopefully answer that. The first page right here, this is just a big picture view of the past 20 plus years of wholesale natural gas. So kind of 2 components make up wholesale electricity in Texas. Your fuel, so natural gas, coal, whatever that fuel is, and then your generation cost, your heat rate, turning that fuel into electricity. So as you can see, this is prompt month natural gas, so a very close time period. We're sitting below a 5-year average, but not too far off of the historical low. It'll make more sense here in a little bit of why we even look at this. The next page, yes, sir.
Has there been some coal plants shut down?
Yes, and I'll get to that here in just a second. It's, you can definitely see some movement here in another slide. This next page, we watch we watch natural gas storage because it's just a supply and demand issue, right? If you have a lot of excess storage, prices are usually low. If storage is short, then prices typically go up. Right now, this graph right here, it shows the gray area is the 5-year range. The blue line is the 5-year average. That red line is actually where we're at. So we're sitting pretty well below that 5-year average going into this summer. And if we have a hot summer, which, I mean, it's already 103, the weekend before last, but we should be kind of going into this winter well below the 5-year average, possibly at a 5-year low falling out of that range. So just something we always like to look at what risks are lying ahead, and this is something that we're keeping a big eye on. So this next slide, this will start to kind of allude to what the judge was mentioning. Let me explain what we're looking at here. This is a historical view looking back all the way to 2014 of wholesale electricity prices. Each different calendar year is a different color line. So a lot of people don't know that there's actually prices for calendar year 2024 today, or for February of 2022. Each month has a price, each year has a price. So we look at things from a big picture view, but we also like to look at each individual here so that we can see where opportunities are. So if you look at kind of the second half of the fall in 2017, there's kind of this U shape right there. The reason for that U is we had come down, and then TXU made an announcement that they were looking at potentially closing 3 coal-fired power plants, just because they're old, inefficient plants, and they couldn't keep them open any longer. So just that announcement made the market rally right away. Now, right after that, it did come down a little bit, but then if you look at February of 2018, see how that blue line really just runs off, and then the black line is falling right behind it. That's calendar years 2019 and 2020. That's actually when TXU closed those 3 coal-fired plants, and a report came out talking about the reserve margin going into this summer. So the reserve margin is essentially when the grid is at its absolute max, what left do we have in the tank to fulfill more needs? The ERCOT likes to keep it around 15.5%. We're going into the summer about 11.5%. Just because of those reasons, the closer years have just gone through the roof. Now, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because that's bad news, of course, for people that have contracts that end, in 2019 or 2020. But if you'll look, all the other colored lines, they plummeted. So the market kind of did the splits a little bit. And so this is why we look at graphs like this, again, to look at what years are dropping, which ones are going up. And so there's big opportunity in those farther out years. The next chart, and this is the last one, I promise. This is now a forward look. So that last graph was looking back. This is now looking forward all the way out to 2028. And the reason why it looks kind of like a funky EKG chart is each spike is a summer, and then you have a little dip down in the fall and a hump there in the winter, and then another dip in the spring, then back up for the summer. And we're looking at 3 different moments in time. We're looking at the blue line is October of last year. That's right before TXU said that they're potentially closing those coal-fired plants. The black line is February of this year. This is when they actually closed those plants. And then the green line is the 8th of this month, so just last week. And so what you can see, the reason why I like to look at this is really 2021 and onward, all the different color lines are right on top of each other. Where the big movement has been is in the summer of 2018, 2019, and 2020. So the position that y'all are in is, your contract ends next summer, so summer of 2019. So it's going to hurt a little bit from that spike that's happened in the summer. But the advice that we've been giving to a lot of clients is if you're looking at farther out terms, you're able to take advantage of some of these really, really low prices, which will help to offset. At least, you know, you're not having to deal with this summer, which is the biggest spike that we've seen in summer of 2018. But that will help you in kind of bringing that price down. We're looking at potentially for a county of this size, we looked at your usage, but you're looking at, depending on how far out you go, probably a mid to higher 3-cent range. Now, there's, you know, a million different brokers out there. Here's the deal. Everybody gets the same prices from all the different suppliers. It just matters what commission they're having the supplier pay them. We're transparent with our clients of saying, hey, here's how much we're getting paid by suppliers. It is baked into your fee. Now, if you went directly with the supplier, they're going to pay an internal salesperson, or they can pay an outside company. Doesn't really matter. We just like to be transparent about that, and it's just what are you getting for that fee. So really kind of the next step would be is if you all decided to move forward with our company, we would, we've already started on the analysis looking at how much electricity you use, how you use it. Our procurement process is very different from a lot of companies out there. We work with every major supplier in the state, but that doesn't mean that every supplier in the state would be good for the county. You know, there might be a supplier that's great at managing the electricity contract for a mom and pop donut shop, but not good at serving the county. So for this county, there's probably about 8 suppliers that would be really good at serving y'all's load. We would go out to those, and we would run round after round after round of pricing. And the reason for doing that is to create competition, healthy competition between the suppliers to see, you know, who's going to be the best for you. And each round it would dwindle from maybe 8 down to 6, down to 4. But the unique thing about what we do is in between each round, we give pricing feedback to each supplier. And we don't tell them, hey, you know, Reliant or TXU, you're, you know, number 3 out of 6. We'll tell them that, but we won't tell them who number 2 is, or number 1, or number 4, or 5, and we don't share prices. But what's interesting is you'll see suppliers start to jockey for position in who really wants to win your business. And then we also have interlocal credentials through TIPS, the interlocal purchasing system. So it allows us to run that RFP on your behalf so that you're covered, you know, on all purchasing guidelines and things. But so we like to do it that way. We run that process literally within about a week or so. Our big worry, whether you all work with us or not, is I highly advise y'all make a decision here pretty quickly, because as we get closer into this summer, and as we're already seeing a hot summer, the market really could react pretty quickly. And with your contract being up in a year, it's that shorter time frame that's going to get affected the most.
Gentlemen, I'm not suggesting that Chris maybe come back as an agenda item so that we could discuss this more fully and maybe make a decision at that point.
Question on the deal is, do y'all ever do any work with the transmission cost?
So, your Encore fee, so your bill is broken down to your supply costs and then your delivery costs.
Yeah.
I always explain delivery costs is kind of like taxes. Everybody has to pay them, you just don't have to overpay. So there are some things that we look at, a part of the analysis that we look at is there's sometimes penalties that you're paying that you don't know about because it's not line item on there. We work on the operations side with a lot of counties on, hey, if you did, you know, this or that operationally, you could save some money there. So we try to advise as much as we can. You're not going to see huge movement, but hey, don't overpay. Absolutely.
Those are the kind of questions that we can ask him when we get into a full-blown discussion of everything.
So this stemmed out first choice?
I'm sorry?
This company stemmed out a first choice?
It was the executive team that was at First Choice Power, and then they sold, the board of directors decided to sell to Direct Energy.
Is that new public service?
Texas, it was the deregulated arm out of Texas, New Mexico. Yes, sir.
We're still under contract right now, and it's kind of stated summer months are bad, paraphrasing, summer months are bad time to lock in contract. Would we not wait till the cools off and see exactly what the summer has done to us.
So summer
And look
months,
at rates.
summer months are bad for when you're looking at just prompt month, meaning like if your contract started next month or something like that. The real risk of, waiting until, let's say, the fall and stuff, is that this summer is hot, the market runs up, and it drags everything else up with it. It can take a full year, 2 years to even have an opportunity to come back down. So that's why with a lot of that chart that showed the different color lines and stuff, just a great example is with the city. I mean, back in the spring of 2016, we saw a low. That helped them lock in out until 2022. And then in the fall of 2017, those farther out years really dropped. We helped them go from 22 out to, I believe it was 27. And it's that proactive kind of future purchasing that gives you kind of the upper hand, because then you're proactively buying on dips instead of just kind of taking what the market gives you.
So, do you think the coal plants will get shut down, and will this new administration up there change the EPA regulations and open them back up? Or will they make some changes and open them back up in the future?
Those I don't believe are going to open back up. It's really just because of the inefficiency of them. I mean, when they're old, it's like an old pickup. You can only run it for so long and stuff until the maintenance costs kind of get higher and higher. Yep, and so kind of the catch-22 that we're in right now, honestly, is that those plants closed because electricity was so darn cheap that they couldn't make money to stay open. Well, let's say that the summer, is real hot. Well, electricity prices will skyrocket. Now, let's say if it's a mild summer and prices come back down, well, then we're in the same predicament where now we'll see more coal-fired plants shut down because they can't stay open. There's no incentive for new generation to come online. So we're kind of in this situation of, it's definitely a catch-22 of either way, we're not probably looking at going up.
Look, a little question for you, just for curiosity's sake, yes, and you may know that, how much of our electrical use here, I guess I want to say, again, I want to get it local as again, let's just say statewide, how much of the electrical generation are we generating by wind and solar?
So wind, I believe it was last calendar year made up, I want to say it was somewhere right at around 8 to 11%, roughly, of the overall generation statewide.
Is that?
Now, right, in this area, I don't know specifically, but
In the ERCOT system?
in the ERCOT system, yes, wind overall. So a lot of that is starting here and headed west.
Around 10%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all perfect.
So, and we're starting to see a lot of things come online where, wind, solar is really starting to make a good move, where solar is only really making financial sense right now. It's not the rooftop units, to put on the courthouse or something like that. It's these large utility scale solar projects out in West Texas and connected to the grid.
Weren't coal plants actually hurt more by the lack of subsidies that these other folks get versus the rest of them, and the unfavorable regulation of the EPA and the prior administration?
It's made it harder, that's for sure. It's that, but also when natural gas is so darn cheap. I mean, we've been right now for the last few months, we've been hovering $2.70 to $2.90. I mean, staying under $3 is extremely low. But when you have natural gas-fired power plants and their fuel is down here, and then you have coal plants and their fuel's up here, plus regulations and everything like that, it's hard for them to compete because these natural gas plants.
The efficiency of wind is terrible, and if it weren't for the government subsidies, they wouldn't be in the game either. Okay, that's the elephant in the room here.
Yeah, I mean,
these are artificial prices.
Yeah, it's wind. It's a unique approach. I will say it has helped in some of these big spikes that we've seen in the past summer or two, over the summertime, where we could have seen a huge run up, but we got lucky in that it was a really windy day out, out by Sweetwater, It did kind of help the market not go too crazy. So it's helped some, but,
But when the wind stops on a hot day,
yeah, well, and when does the wind not blow? Usually when it's burning up.
Burning up.
So there's just a lot of changes right now, but when we look at the market overall, we look at just sheer risk to reward and how much room is there to move down. And if you're looking at sub 4-cent prices, you know, could it go down one day to a 3.2 or a 3.0 or something like that? Yes, absolutely. But could it go up to a 5.5 or a 6 where you're at today? Absolutely. So you kind of have to weigh that downward potential movement versus the upward movement.
Beer and green.
Your office and headquarters out of Metro Place.
Yes, sir. So our headquarters is over in Las Colinas. I live in Aledo, and my office in Fort Worth. And then I'm a Red Raider, and so I pretty much stay Aledo and go west. So.
Lots of strikes against you then.
No, but we try.
But this is a privately held.
Yes, sir. Yes, privately held. Yeah, we're about 40 to 45-ish full-time employees. We operate in every deregulated market in the country, and actually also in Mexico now. The entire country of Mexico is deregulated, so we're doing some business down there.
Anything else for Chris?
like I say, you come back so we could ask more questions, have a more in-depth discussion, and parse some of these numbers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll invite you back. Sure.
Sounds great. Thank you all for your time.
Appreciate it.
Maybe explain to me what a chief culture officer does.
I'd love to.
Okay, is there any announcements or anything anybody needs to tell us about? If not, we'll move on to item number 4. Let's consider county clerk minutes from previous meetings that have been May 29th and June 7th. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections that need to be made in those minutes?
Yes, we've already made note of that in the Thursday meeting minutes. The top portion of it there, just need to be a name change in it.
Okay.
Where it says, I'm not there, but I am there.
Jim Wiley, Stacy Rogers, always was.
Yeah,
Yeah, you was there. It's hard to see you.
yeah.
I'm in a doctor's appointment that day.
Was
Stacy Rogers was.
Put Stacy's name in there where my name is, where I was.
Yeah, it should be Commissioner Mike Sampson, Commissioner Stacy Rogers.
Yeah, that's not good. That'll take care of it. And then we'll approve both sets of minutes.
Okay, well, that correction. Okay, we'll make that noted correction on those minutes.
Do we need to just let spelling slide?
Excuse me.
If we got a misspelled word, should we correct that, or is that nitpicking?
Do you know what it says?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Has been posted in the manner and for the time required.
In line.
M-A-N-N-E-R, not M-A-N-O-R.
Okay.
We can go down to the manor and have rest meal. Item 1, last sentence. Got it?
Why you start kicking?
I know, I'll be the next one to make the mistake, so.
So moved on both sets of minutes
That's correct.
as they are stand corrected.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wiley and a second by Commissioner Rogers to approve those minutes as corrected. All in favor? 4-0. Item number 5. Mr. Treasurer, please come
There's
and
just
give us.
securities pledged, and that's all.
$616,219.04 over market. Excess.
That's all the report you're gonna give us.
Yep, that's it.
All I got. All I got.
I'll move on there.
Second.
Who was that, Wiley?
Wiley, second.
Thank you.
Wiley Sipes. Set. Security pledges. All in favor? 5-0. Item number 6, consider audit budget amendments and payment of vouchers. Budget amendments, payment of vouchers.
How about vouchers?
No amendments. Okay, that's usually a good thing. But there will be some.
There will be some.
Sounds like they're being encouraged.
Yeah, they are. Total of the vouchers is $140,786.12, and out of the general is $128,850.75. So the majority came out of the general. The precincts weren't very much this time.
So moved on the vouchers.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wiley and a second by Commissioner Rogers to approve the vouchers as presented. All in favor? Four of them.
I'm sorry, Cheryl, I didn't get that amount.
Which one, Shirley? The total or the?
That says,
The total is $140,786.12, and out of the general is $128,850.75.
120,
$850.75.
Did you get that? Or did you get that?
I'll get it, make a copy.
thank you.
All right.
Got the money? Yep.
Treasurer, I'll sign it. You want to talk about the bullet underneath there?
Yes, cap risk, we've got a specific bullet point under number 6, discuss and consider cap risk, Young County, for Young County. Has to do with Gatsby 75, which I believe has been renamed, is that correct?
Right, it took the place of the Gatsby 45, and there's going to be a little bit more until Mr. Owen is getting with Marcia, and she gets all the information to him, and I'm not sure what all else is going to be added to that. But I noticed the price had been $3,400, and now it's $3,950. So it had gone up a little bit because it is a little more entailed on what they want, but we have to do it.
Will be the other public employee benefits, is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
The good thing about the $3,950 though is they're gonna honor that all the way through the fiscal year 2023.
And you know, the 45 has cost us $3,400 for the last, how long we've done it, 5 or 6 years, so. And he's, you know, as soon as Marcia gets all the information, he's very prompt on getting this, and then Mike Edge will have to have this part of it for his part of the audit also. No, this is totally
Different
out.
animal.
It's got to be done. Gatsby things or,
See, it wasn't long after we finished the jail when we first started doing it. Yeah.
Was it 07?
07.
Maybe longer.
Maybe longer, probably.
Time flies.
Yes. more like 12 years.
See, this is probably, this is a 6-year contract.
Yes, there's
I make a motion we accept this
Contract.
contract with Cap Risk Consulting Group, and also the new price of $39.50 that is good through 2023.
I'll second that.
That'd be fiscal year 2023.
Approve this contract with Cap Risk Consulting Group.
Fiscal year 2023
Well,
is what
I
the,
read that completely and fully. I'm gonna bet that it doesn't have that, out clause in that, so,
yeah, it says here in the Cap Risk that will honor all inclusive flat fee schedule through fiscal year 2023.
yeah. But I think we'll probably all do that for this year and it'll all be done every year.
Okay.
A little adjustment on
I know the other one, I think we did it every year.
Yeah. It stayed the same every year. But the other one didn't ever say this that I remember.
I don't remember.
It didn't, it never said that, it just was the
And,
same every year.
I don't know how you did that, because what if that Gatsby 75 gets replaced by
Well, that's
Gatsby
why,
85?
that's why I'm saying they think they're looking at past 2023, there's gonna be some more changes done.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, the administration's gonna come up with something different between now and then.
And it states for additional evaluations to be performed during the extended time frame. It doesn't say evaluations on which contract.
Right.
So I think it would supplement whatever change they made in the contract.
Yeah. There's a lot of people working in Texas, Oklahoma, across the U.S.
that. Well, multi-year contracts are, the county government, they're required to have an opt-out clause in them. Just due to the fact that something very unforeseen.
Of course, it states this in that one part of their actual.
Yeah, the actual
fiscal
contract.
years, fiscal year 2018 to fiscal year 2023. It actually states it, so. However the court desires.
All in favor?
Nah.
4-0. 4 for, 0 against.
Okay.
Okay, item number 7 is consider approval of bond, Darrell Gilmore, Director of Adult Probation, $5,000 bond.
I move we approve that bond.
Are you sure you want to do that?
I know the guy, so I should be a little more squeamish about it. I'm all
Using the original bond to Shirley.
Yes,
There it is, it's back on
had to reset it. I don't know what happened to it.
I did already service, I did it right here.
Okay.
Really?
I don't know why it went off.
I don't know either, because it knocked me off
You
too.
sure? 'Cause I have to make a note of that.
It's been 60 days.
Really? Wow. That wasn't long. 4 years maybe? Okay. Yeah, you can tell we had 14 arrests last month and 22 grams of meth. That all come off of one arrest, so.
Did the marijuana come off the same arrest?
Yeah. No.
It didn't.
Not that I remember.
So I got some other stuff over
Yeah, and it seems like we've written like 19 citations last month. But it seems like already this month we're starting to, business is picking up.
Livestock complaints have remained low, so.
Right. We had 54 people in jail so far today, so,
And it's been up around 65, though.
it has, it's been going back and forth. It's, I think here in a minute when I show you the jail, I believe it was like 59 was the average last month. But,
full staff.
we are not full staffed. We are I'm doing the final interview today at 1:30 and then at 2:30 with 2 applicants. We interviewed 6 a couple weeks ago. We need to.
Oh, that's over jail vote.
That's now could we add 2 positions, one left in the Bowie, and then another one that turned his 2 weeks notice in, I believe last month. We are running too low right now. But hopefully after today we'll be fully staffed again. These 2 guys, or both of them are fresh out of the academy, so you're talking about 14-week at least training period.
Thanks for the overtime, man.
Sorry.
Thanks for overtime.
We have that. This right here is costing us overtime. And, a lot of it was, we had a workers' comp deal for 5 months and we didn't hang on, and that put us low also. And with that and this big trials that we've had to do security on, that's cost us a lot that we wasn't anticipating. So, but yeah, the overtime is crazy. This will slow it down when we get these other 2 hired and trained and ready to go.
So 14 weeks of training, that type training, in-house training.
It's in-house.
Only in the field.
What they'll do is they'll be riding with a field training officer for that 14 weeks. Which actually makes it even better, because at least then you have like a 2-man unit, so that deputy's not out there by themselves. Hopefully that'll all get squared away pretty quick. I don't see nothing. I mean, the only other thing was the civil process that we served. 55 paper served, which generated like $4,950 worth of civil process. Here's the jail. Yeah, it's an average 59.
Thanks, sir. Oops.
One thing I liked about.
You got an extra one there, sir?
One thing I like about this monthly report on the jail is the money we got back from TDC.
How many months was that?
That was just for last month. I don't know how many months that was that we did that, but that's just what we got back from last month.
Jimmy, check that size to show months that haven't been paid yet.
It probably was, a lot of it was months before that, so.
It's
But
good
at
that you
least
got
we're
it.
getting that, because before we wasn't even getting it.
Is that just transport reimbursement, or was there any,
Yeah, that's just transport reimbursement.
we haven't kept anybody over 45 days?
February?
Not that I'm aware of. Everybody that we have that's convicted and got their bid back, we've been sending them on.
This is first check we've got in a long time.
I don't know, I can't.
Timmy says it's February through into May.
Okay,
Yeah, we got the one in January for
Okay.
last year and January.
all right, well, that's good. And I was gonna see. We did
So your
do,
jail population is up?
right now, it's been staying average. It hadn't been up and down. It's been anywhere from like, what Commissioner Wiley said, anywhere from mid-60s down to the low 50s.
Your MHMR apartments are down about 25%.
Yeah.
Well, we're 44 right now. 44 inmates.
What's that?
44 inmates.
44?
I ran this one out.
I was told we had 54. Yeah.
Lee's got a copy of it.
53,
Yes, it said 53.
44 males, 9
Oh, that's right, 44 was
It's never been in the 40s since I've been sheriff.
But this was May's average 59?
Yes, sir.
They take that juvenile a long way, don't
Huh?
they? They take that one juvenile a long way.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the only one, but
Is that a placement? Is that a placement or?
I don't remember what the deal was on that.
It was. Went down to, went down to Austin.
Yes, somewhere over around Austin. That one just had to pick him up.
Got 14 full.
I'm sorry?
Got 14.
14th pool?
Yeah, 14 full. 14 going to MHMR. Didn't have a whole lot going to the hospital.
Has the lady that's pregnant, is she out now?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I believe so. Because nobody's had a discussion, haven't brought up the law.
Okay.
Notice the activity in all these at zero.
Yeah, no convicts no more.
Well, I wouldn't bet on that.
They have just completely stopped the crime over there.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for all that right there in
You
May.
know,
The activity in the city of Graham has stayed about the same. And then we have just one back in May that was housed from other counties,
for 9 days.
9 days. We made $126 off of that, 9 days. I was told that we might want to renegotiate our crime which we charge per day.
Higher or lower?
Higher. Is there something y'all can think about?
Budgeting time, it's a good time to talk about it.
So, we might just present that when we get everything ready. So I might sit down and let talk to Netterville and see exactly what we think we need to come up.
All our jail cells in good shape.
Well, actually, we had to do some work over the weekend over the air conditioners inside one of the female cells that went out. And Mickey came out yesterday and got that back to working. So we had
Well,
to,
that's a real way you've been calculating that. I hope it's like somebody might be wanting to be going down.
yeah, or
Yeah, he did $31, didn't he, for the city?
yeah, for the city, yeah.
Well,
Do those counties shop prices when they start putting prisoners out, or is it just for convenience, or who's got room?
Actually, they do a lot of shopping around. Cause I know Throckmorton, they'll take them to Stevens County because they're a little cheaper than what we are.
those that, on state misdemeanors, or obviously, municipal court, are those calculated $100 per day?
Yes, sir.
I know they were getting money for that.
I know.
So it's kind of double, isn't there a double charge? $100 charge for $50 pay.
Yeah. I know. But most of them stay in one of the days, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's. When they get out, they're probably not.
You would bet. Yeah, and that's $100 a day, that's all they got to do, they have to do that, so.
They reimburse $100 for a $50 fine?
Yeah, that's kind of, how do you do that?
Raise your fine.
Or,
Can't do that.
No, don't do that.
they can. Anyway,
Good.
does anybody else have any questions on the jail?
How the dogs doing?
Dogs are doing good. They, been out on numerous searches. In fact, we already had a lot of activity on this month. 'Cause we even had, we're still going to Archer County. They'll call for dogs and we'll go over there. We used break-in here the other day. They used Rocky to search for the person that was there and they found him. They're not 100% sure there was another person in the vehicle. I don't know too much about it.
Straight fee or something?
One that tried to burglarize Jordan's, wasn't it?
I don't know a whole lot about the details on it.
That was the city, though.
We were about to use Sam yesterday on a missing person, but they located him, get to him.
Is that it, in this county or Washington?
The missing person here. Yeah.
Get some missing?
No problem. Yeah, there should be, like I said, there should be some more activity on that next month. Like I said, they've been doing quite a bit.
Memorial Day busy?
Actually, it's really quiet. I think it was too hot for everybody, which was good, I mean, because.
All the troubles down at Red Bull.
Yeah, well, it was, I guess, what was the possibility, the weekend after Memorial Day?
Weekend after.
We had a lot of people also working that day because of the way that the,
Approaches like that.
we had to have people stationed deputy stationed in certain areas for traffic control. And that eats on our overtime also. But we did see a lot of people, and it was hot. We had a rest area the sheriff's office did out on I-78 and 209. And by the time they got to where we were at,
We were worn out, right?
4 of them called it quits. But they all was complaining about that chip seal, just shaking.
Shaking them back. New chip seal.
Never heard anybody complain about anything until this year. The heat, and they said it was hotter than that one in Wichita.
They were real sensitive to it when they got that hot too.
Yeah. So,
And I guess there was no incidences with traffic whatsoever.
none. We, like I said, I had probably 4 of them working out on 67. We even had some volunteers from the sheriff's posse that came in, and the sheriff's posse that's trying to get organized still, but we had some volunteers come out and help us on that, and that worked out good. No one got hurt.
Did a fine job.
Well, I appreciate it. They all did. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've written on it.
Item number 10, consider acceptance of donated materials and labor for enclosing Fort Belknap residence garage. Jim, you want to say anything about this?
Not really, that's the
I think we've got
things
probably
there.
the exhibits in here.
Yeah.
I don't have an exhibit for the piano.
You know, it's not absolute that we have to put the amount of or a value to the donated item, but this is for the people that makes those donations. Sure. It's a good reference for them to be able to deduct that from a charitable contribution, things like that. So checked on this was for building materials, First Baptist Church only, floor coverings, electrical and floor covering materials from Tim and Amber Hammond, Bobby Wolf for labor, construction labor, and then there was 114 hours of volunteer labor. We don't have anything, if we didn't put a value on that, so don't just what to do there. But
That's multiple individuals, though.
yeah, multiple various people.
There's six guys from the church came out to help them drywall and stuff like that. So and budding on the walls, putting our texture stuff, painting on the walls.
Where are we at on the?
Oh,
It's done.
Yeah, I mean they had this done in it was 3 days and we were moving stuff in. So Amber and I stayed up late one night to get the padding and carpet and stuff laid down. Anyway, we stretched it all, so did all that.
Well, I'd move that we accept the donation of materials and labor for Fort Belknap as specified in item 10.
I'll second that.
They all in favor? 4-0. And just a word of thanks to them, and we appreciate the business of Fort Belknap and their activities and their support. Also, number 11, we have another donated item to Fort Belknap. It's donated by a church, and it doesn't necessarily need a value on it, the church being a charitable organization itself. So,
Do you have an exhibit for that one, Judge?
any what?
Do you have an exhibit for that? I don't have an exhibit for that.
I think I just emailed
I
that.
think it's just on that.
Oh, okay.
I just emailed it to Timmy whenever, just the information on it.
On the piano?
Yeah, on the piano, yeah.
So Timmy may have it
Yeah,
over
it should be in here.
It wasn't a form, it was just an email saying.
Oh,
Just an email.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Got it back.
Anyway, it's a
Acrosonic.
Acrosonic Baldwin. And it was donated from Cumberland Presbyterian Church in Allen. And it was because I think they got a new church, a new piano.
They had that one, the one at the fort that they used because of the great cricket incident of 2016, that piano was kind of good.
Full of cricket slime.
Yeah, and I got it, but all that decay and stuff after cleaning it out, and the temperature fluctuation in the building is not good for those pianos, so anyway, they had asked me if I knew anybody that had a piano, and our church had already donated all theirs out, so they came up with this one, and they asked if they could donate it. I didn't think it'd be a problem, because they're just replacing the ones they use there, so.
Well, I'd like to move that we accept the donation of the piano from the Cumberland Presbyterian Church to Fort Belknap.
So,
All in favor? 4 of them.
Yep.
Very good, and appreciate that too. I hope there's lots of music played on it.
Me too.
Tell them to sing loud.
Item number 12, discuss, consider memorandum of understanding between the Office of the Attorney General and Young County for internet equipment router installation in the courthouse. I'll let our tech lady right here explain that a little bit.
Well, basically what we have here is kind of an example of when the state come in with UNC and set their own stuff up, send you straight calls, they come to log in that data. This is what's happening with the child support. They're setting their own router and everything else. That's going to be no cost to us. The only cost that might incur with us is ever how much electricity it pulls, which will be very minute.
yeah.
So it'll be up in, I call it George Burkle's old office, because I think Jamie uses it as a filing room and stuff like that. That's where we're going to install.
Does this create any additional work for the courthouse?
Should
So moved.
Matter of fact, they're having their own internet. It'll take some of our bandwidth. If we give it back to us, that they can pull in from us for child support. So
It's kind of one internet that they use.
what are they going to use?
And I understand, right, not all counties are going through this. Some of them are just, maybe have to come put it in and have that, but we agreed that we'd probably have more than
Right.
have trouble.
They've been super nice people to work with. When she first contacted me, Jamie had given her my name and she would explain everything, and she said most of the time we just come out and put it in, and they don't really pass it through court every time, but I felt a little more comfortable. After visiting with the judge, we thought, you know, this should be something that is passed through court.
You worried about their responsibilities to us or our responsibilities to
Well,
them?
I was worried about them more than us.
Yeah. It's just the right thing to do, have it on paper. And I think they're probably going to drop the Brazos over here also.
Mr. Wiley's already made a motion, I'll second it.
Spoken by Commissioner Wiley, second Commissioner Sykes to execute memorandum of understanding between the Office of the Attorney General and Young County Commissioners Court for internet equipment installation. All in favor? No, it shouldn't affect us one way at all. Anyway, supposedly going to do all the installation, all the maintenance, if there's anything to be done. And they just needed the location plan.
Sure.
Item number 13 is discuss, consider courthouse waterproofing, some basic IDIQ, basic IDIQ. And Don is some of
his people that he uses come down here and look at our circumstances down here on the southeast corner. Again, the proposal he brought up, I was a little bit surprised that it wasn't any more money. Yeah. I thought it would probably be more expensive.
Well, he doesn't have the excavation bill included in it.
Yeah, he expects us to be estimators on it. I won't read that study along. I don't know what pleasure of the board is. I know it's not being a problem unless the ground gets really saturated. It doesn't seem, but it is evident that there is places that walls, foundations, something can be breached with water, Steve.
Where's the money coming from for this? Where's the money coming from for this?
We haven't
Coming
left
from
the
courthouse,
courthouse.
it'll be coming from courthouse,
Maintenance.
maintenance repairs, I think.
We got money in there?
That's grounds, I don't know what
Let me look at
we've
that
got
line
in
and see.
there.
510,
It might was like a budget move somewhere else there.
Well, I thought maybe we might could wait until the fall to put it in the new budget.
There's money in there right now in the 350 line to do this.
What's in there?
Well, we budgeted 30,000 and we've only spent about 3,500. So
That's what's there
we haven't
for.
had any
Let's
big.
make it happen.
Make it happen.
Let's go ahead and do it, get it done.
I move that we move forward with the IDIQ waterproofing courthouse.
I'll second that. Basically, what this is gonna do is leave all,
Same thing we did that corner over there.
this end,
Yeah.
basically, where we left off, they're gonna begin. And there's gonna be some more things over here, and they're gonna go back to revisit, but
Tell Pete to get ready for more jumping jack.
So this is for $7,754.34 to be paid out of what?
courthouse.
Courthouse, and ground,
Yeah, the 010-510, 350, Chairman.
or
010.
510, 350.
okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Sykes and a second by Commissioner Wiley to approve the proposal as presented by Basic IDIQ on waterproofing the courthouse. Or section of the courthouse. All in favor?
Alright.
4-0. In the amount of $77,554.30.
What y'all talking about?
That was good. Maybe
No.
see if we can get those.
I had Marcia's
issues
glasses
repaired.
here, mine.
So,
And Marcia's looking at me, go, what?
number 14, discuss out-of-state travel. I think it's been discussed before.
This is a requirement of the SARA certification that I'm going through, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through, that I go to a national conference. This will be the closest one for about 3 years, and I have to do the national conference within the time period it takes me to get the SARA certification. So, we should have money for this in the contract funds that I bill the entities when I run their elections. So we really won't necessarily be out anything, but I need approval before I leave the state. So
Your intentions are to fly?
my intentions are to fly.
She said I could go with her.
Yes, Shirley offered to chaperone, because anybody who knows me knows I need a chaperone.
All those, you probably need some chaperoning.
What did he say?
She probably needs
I'm
to.
not sure if Shirley should be the one to chaperone though.
What did
I'd
he
like to
say?
go and be entertainment director because I know some great places in New Orleans. You won't have time for any kind of
How much of
cultural
the cost of
view
that
from New Orleans. Not sure.
around?
$1,200 depending on flight cost. My intention is to fly in Sunday, go to class Monday and Tuesday, and be back by about midnight Tuesday night. I don't need to be gone much more than that, because we start school about the same time, and that's a lot for,
I think we did talk about this at our last budget time.
Yes.
Mr. Craig, budget. Did we build money in there then?
She said she did.
it's in my contract fund. It's a separate fund that I bill the entities, the administrative fees when I run their elections, so, there's, I don't know how much is in there, enough to cover this for sure.
Okay.
I would move that we approve the elections administrator travel to New Orleans for Sarah certificate.
Is she bring back some
From Gumbo?
gumbo? Etouffee?
The hot beignets, that's gonna be hard
I
to do.
spend more like a
I've
hot.
seen the
What's the
yard.
vineyard?
See already.
That was
Don't
fried
see.
French pastry.
Not Sarah, like the website, but Sarah, like the elections.
Sarah.
Certified election, something,
Certified Election and Registration Administration.
there you go.
Restoration.
Yes.
Beignets are a lot like I said.
Blueberries.
I'm only gonna be gone 2 days.
I think a lot.
I think that's no.
Well, some of mine will be paid for.
I should go there.
You should go there. I really should. You have a good time.
I'm really not planning on moving around a whole lot.
Everything you do in the daylight.
I wouldn't down there.
Yeah, it's
My son said that place.
Sheridan and New Orleans.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Says it's
It's
dirty,
like San
dirty
Francisco
building.
on the beach.
Dirty.
That's what you need. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Sipes, second by Commissioner Rogers to approve out-of-state travel for Lauren Sullivan, election, Young County Election Administrator for National Conference pertaining to Sarah certification. All in favor? Carries 4-0.
Shirley, they forgot to say your name in the motion. I guess you don't.
I guess I don't get to go.
You can meet her there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, y'all have to pay.
Oh, that's what you want, okay.
That's what I wanted, y'all have to pay.
Item number 15 is discuss recent sale of building and on online auction at precinct number 1.
Yeah, the reason I put this here, I thought maybe you guys might want to ask some questions about it. It went off pretty much without a hitch, Cheryl.
It did.
They were easy to deal with.
Very.
We sold the building for $100. The buyer paid a $12.50 buyer's premium. Have they paid us yet?
No, not yet.
They had 5 days from the end of the auction.
I had,
Haven't heard. And they will be coming after it. The only thing I suggest to you guys, if you got anything that's of questionable value or negligible value, this system here is very inexpensive to use
yes, we have a good.
and very
rep, Simon.
effective. And she said if had any items that were multiples or complicated items of some sort, he would come down and take
Yeah, he
photos
said that,
and
yeah. He'd come down
do
and
everything
it all
we needed.
for us.
Hatch Company, a guy named Hatch out of Dallas, Texas, bought it. So you can see also it expands the area which you might get bids from it also. So I would suggest to Commissioners Court that they put that in their quiver of resources and tools to use to dispose of surplus equipment and materials.
And what size building was it?
18 by 24 wood frame building. It was really a very good building. Last year,
$100,
clean on it.
wow.
Yeah, the real cost is gonna be getting it out of here and getting it home.
Yeah,
You know, and that relieves us of all that expenditure and cost of
we
getting that
didn't
out
have
of
to
there.
advertise, the auction company did it all, so it saved us money on advertising.
I think our precinct cat pretty much has the rattlesnakes out from under it, but the work crew did find a small rattlesnake behind the building when they were mowing grass last time they mowed grass, so. If anybody wants to see how many snakes are underneath it, I'll let you know.
Take pictures.
Take pictures? You don't want to be there when it's moved?
Nope.
It is appearing big.
Item number 16, we have
Wait a second.
done, excuse me?
Well, she has here a motion, are we gonna approve, or is there any?
There's no
action?
motion, it's just
Oh,
discussion.
no action on that?
No action.
Thank you.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
just get down,
The details of it,
Thank you.
in case anybody had any questions.
just getting a report.
Mhm.
Item number 16, we dealt with initially earlier today. Item number 17 is discuss and consider requesting bids for chip seal 5.6 mile roadway in precinct number 1.
Yes, sir. I gave each of you a list of the roads that I am planning to ask for bids on to put chip seal down on. Just a matter of course, this money, of course, is coming out of the FEMA reimbursements that was given to precinct 1. So we'll see how much exactly this includes. Commissioner Rogers, would you like to include yours?
Yeah, if I can piggyback on,
Please do.
on this item. I got about 3 miles I need to advertise. I don't have it broke down per road, but it's about 3 miles.
I just did that just for detail purposes. But
So in the ad, I wouldn't have to put each
8.7.
thing, just put 8.7 miles.
Commissioner
various
Precinct 1 to
roads.
pay for the whole ad.
That's not true.
It's your item on the agenda.
No wonder you piggyback. Get off my back.
Stacy, approximately how many
3 miles.
of various roads?
Single course.
Want to open on June 25th around 10 o'clock?
That sounds good.
You had that? Y'all had that?
Yeah, he added 3 miles to it.
You'll have to specify some of Mike's is double course. That county.
Yeah, 1/2 mile of mine was double course.
5.6 miles, 1 and 3 miles,
Precinct 3.
3.
The rest of it's all single?
Yes, ma'am.
You say for approximately how many miles?
Probably 5.7 in precinct 1 and 3 miles in precinct 3. With 1/2 mile in precinct 1 double course chip seal. That's from where Lower Tonk meets Rosser Ranch Road on out to Highway 67 because of the weight of the traffic that's going through there currently.
Have any more questions?
No, gentleman came to see me last week wanting to know what was going on. I told him I had no earthly idea. Said he had not received a date for hearing, trial, or anything. His lawyer was unable to give him any information. He swore he was doing no gambling down there whatsoever, and I said, you know, somebody else has a different idea of what you call gambling, I suppose, so.
Is the restaurant still active?
Nothing's active at the moment, I don't believe. And he needs a source of income, so he's getting pretty pinched. He did talk about maybe leaving and opening another one somewhere else. It hasn't discouraged him from the business.
And
Hadn't seemed to.
I think one of the longest you folks get me out.
He mentioned you a couple of times.
He did.
Yeah. He said he had talked to you. And I think you basically told him you couldn't do it for him either.
Okay. You have a motion?
Yeah, I move that we put these roads out for bid for precinct 1 and precinct 3.
Second.
I've got a motion from Commissioner Sykes, second by Commissioner Rogers for 5.7 miles chip seal in precinct 1 and 3 miles chip seal in precinct 3. Is that correct? To advertise for bids. West Beach, okay? All in favor?
All right. By the way, the reason that ended at 5.7 rather than 5.6 I initially put on the agenda was because I went to the other end of Timber Bridge Lake Road to the right at the T intersection, thinking those folks would probably want theirs covered as well as the other side, so another 1/10 of a mile.
Can't show favoritism.
I know. I sure hope I don't get tangled up in a bunch of internet cable. And I'll start working on that road.
Okay, item number 18, discuss and consider burn restrictions. Everything looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, the underground vegetation's pretty green right now. So,
We had 2 inches of rain out there Thursday night.
Of course, Venus, first fire, I got a chance right there.
if I can just give y'all some information, just as a point of information, there is an application that you can put on your phone called Farm Logs.
Yes.
And you can define a field and it will notify you when rain falls on that particular field. So you can be in San Antonio and know just exactly how much rain fell on your place.
How does it calculate that?
Weather map, same way the weatherman does.
What's it called?
Farm Logs.
Pretty good deal.
You use it?
I've got it.
Yeah. I've been using it for the only place.
We got, you guys that own it underground, is it Weather Underground or whatever?
Weather Underground, yeah.
You got a station set up at their house where you're going.
Yeah, at their house you can deal with this. This Farm Logs, though, you can put a designated square anywhere in the country. And they'll tell you when rain falls on it. It goes from their weather maps, you know, those are plus or
A little
minus.
trip over the weekend down to some little town down there. Sam Savage,
Since that,
I've got that.
pecans.
Sam Savage Gold Lake, it's wet.
Pretty wet down there?
Pretty
Good.
Pretty good.
Glad you goats, did you?
Hunting goats.
Take a break
Yeah.
before we do this. Sorry about
Yeah, we'll
that.
have.
Goes budget here.
I'm afraid Nancy will take a long, long time, so we better break it.
Was there any action on the burn ban?
No.
Go ahead and hand out these budget thingies.
Yeah, about 15 minutes.
Budget thing?
The budget thingy and then Lauren's request.
Oh, we got to see.
She just made a request.
Well, she's full of requests.
She's full of it, all right.
When I saw that MOU, I have instructions coming out that wanted to send back.
Dang, that's gonna change
Yeah.
all my exhibits.
I think Cheryl's got it.
Thank you.
What?
That MOU, I'll make that. I've just got to schedule the certain
Okay, smile, you're on camera.
On camera, okay, hello.
We'll come back to order, Young County Court second and record meeting. We have been recessed for about 17 minutes, and it is 26 minutes until 12 noon. We're back in session with Nancy, our tax assessor collector. She has an urgent, critical problem that's dire all the way to the bank.
Well, we're back to square one over at Olney.
She's been infiltrated, and I think she feels cheated on.
That's exactly right.
She did.
Leave my employees alone.
What'd we do to her?
Laura quit. She's going to work for Stan.
Been robbing over there, and then
That's 2 of them he's taken and I'm.
Well, it's the proximity there.
So?
Go take one ahead.
Well, did he lose his?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
quit.
I could see that happening.
I knew that wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure wasn't working my own.
But you wasn't gonna lose didn't think you were gonna lose the other because of it.
you didn't want this swap.
There you go, stirring it up. So we're posting for a job?
Well,
You got
I've
somebody?
Two options. Y'all can make it full-time, or close it down for 31 months and let the new tax assessor deal with it. I have dealt with it for 17 and a half years.
What kind of ramifications did you have if we shut it down? People calling and complaining that they had come over
They can go
there?
online, which people's gonna have to learn to do that anyway, or they can mail it in. Only got one dealer over there, he don't do that much, you can either mail it in or bring it home.
I think I do something out by mail. Matter of fact.
I'll do all I can by mail and by internet too. So, I don't know, Stacy, that's your community, what's going on?
Laura, have any clues, any ideas, prospects that might want to jump over there?
She had one, but her husband wouldn't let her take it.
That's an old world attitude, isn't it?
You think there's still some men that's got that kind of control?
Well, that's what I was told, I don't know. What I get told and what's the truth is two different things.
I can just imagine me, don't mind, she can't do this.
And sleep. And sleep.
Okay. Yeah, might not be able to talk for so long as they feel like closed in.
I think we need to post it somewhere.
You know where to close it? Can't?
I think she got another little problem there. I think we've got vacations and things coming up. We've got people that's not gonna be in their office.
Yeah, I've got one on vacation this week, next week, and then Glenda's gonna take another vacation.
Well, probably, nobody else works in there before.
I just,
You might have to close that up, for sure, until you get all the employees back on the regular schedule.
and I'd like to, get them trained, get them hired and trained before opening time. They're just gonna have to understand how to do something.
Judy and me, you know, her situation is changing. I was wondering if she wanted to start back again.
Who?
Judy and me.
She's not in good health, and I don't think she will.
Talked to her son the other day.
How many hours a week is it now?
It's 6.5. She works from 8 to 12 and then from 1 to 2:30, 5 days a week.
5 days a week? So it's a full-time position?
Full-time, part-time, what do you call it? It's a
We
part-time.
call it part-time, full-time. It does have all the benefits, but it's
Does?
only like 32 hours. or something
32
like
hours.
that.
Well, that's a perfect job for
Enough to have
somebody.
the insurance, so nearly full-time.
Then you have to deal with the people, can they learn it, can you trust them?
Sure, fiduciarily and got customer service skills.
Or you might
Yeah,
hire
she gets
somebody and.
She gets the maximum part-time pay, which is $12 an hour, so therefore maybe.
Plus benefits.
It pays a lot. Yeah, she gets benefits with it.
We need the office over there. My wife's office goes in there, buys trailer tags and stuff. They need to get on the road. They don't have time to be shut down.
Gonna have to give some incentive or something, to keep people over there, or keep people from stealing.
That's what we did last time, man. So we got an employee benefit package so we could keep somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the incentive should be those benefits.
When I hired her, that's all she wanted, she didn't want no full-time job.
On benefits.
You know, we gave her benefits and all that.
Well, she get benefits with Stan, didn't she?
What?
She'll get benefits with Stan too, right?
And more money.
So she, more hours,
Yeah.
Yeah, get like double.
more
pay.
complaining.
Well, she'll get ready to pay.
Well, budget will be like more hours.
Lauren, you got anybody in mind?
I do.
Do you?
Okay. Oh, I think we need to post the job.
I think.
Well, if you're gonna take it, let us know before you go to New Orleans.
She wouldn't want that over there.
No, I think knowing some of the business that people do in Olney, I do think it's important to keep that open. It's also a pretty goodwill idea to keep as much open in Olney from the county as we can.
They're not very friendly.
How much business do you do with her?
It just
Talking about
varies.
you.
Some days she's real busy and other days, you know,
I'm talking about business during the year. How much,
Just collect.
what percentage of your total business is transacted in Olney?
I don't know. All I can do is bring in what she does or her. She might do 4,000 one day, and the next day she might do 300.
Well, I understand that.
I mean, I can't
During the
do
course of the year,
We can look at the bank statements and see how much runs through that bank.
Is that office not kept separate out?
It's separate.
But I can't give you a percentage, I mean.
No, but you could just look and say how much an average of per month comes through there.
I don't mind, I want to keep the office open, but just trying to train all the time, you know, that does get a little hair-raising, you know?
What's the condition?
Isn't it kind of hardship to people when they're doing those farm
Get hired,
tag
fired,
things and all
employed.
that, have to come all the way over here to get
But
it?
you know, it would be nice.
Yeah, hard on when they bought a new boat on Friday morning,
How long is she-
Friday evening,
How long is she there this time? 3 years.
you know what I mean?
how many
3
weeks?
Years.
years.
She's been there long.
Years.
She probably been there longer than, I guess the next longest one would have been Mrs. Judy.
Now Jane Strobel was there for a while, I think she was there the longest. Jill. But
We need to post it. There'll be somebody in Olney that'll take it. I mean, it's perfect for somebody
It's a
with
good job.
kids. I mean, somebody takes their kids to school and then be out at 2:30 or 2 o'clock, whatever it is. Yeah.
you know, go to the banks and
I mean, it's my opinion, they need to be there during the lunch hour, 8 till 1:30. Do you disagree with that every time? You don't
I didn't
trust
disagree,
them?
the employees over
You
there
don't
didn't
trust-
like being
Laura,
over.
Laura doesn't care, she would rather go ahead and put in full time instead of having to come back for an hour.
I mean, that's all they complain, because they didn't want to be there an hour by themselves over there in the building. I don't have a problem with that, but you gotta keep people some way.
8 to 1:30, you know, just straight time, that'd be a perfect job for somebody over there.
Post it and see what we come up with. And the other, like I said, you had two solutions. Closing it's not the good one. You know, I think closing it, they say the community needs the service, so.
There's lots of folks that work all day that cannot come over.
I was raised in a rural county where everybody had to go to Decatur for everything anyways.
It's kind of handy having Laura there if there's a major question and Nancy's not available, and you could ask Laura.
Reckon, when are you gonna open?
Can we do it with the
When are you
kiosk?
gonna open office in Decatur?
Like the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's up to y'all, I don't have no say so in that.
Well, they have a choice of going to Aldi or coming to Graham.
We
They
have
used to,
funded
well,
it.
about
We got the funding.
60 or 70 years ago it was.
Yeah, you just sell them over there.
Yeah, sure did.
What's your recommendation?
Mine,
Yes.
close it.
Close it.
Close it for 31 months, let the new tax assessor.
Don't worry about it.
come in, and they can have the headache. That's my opinion.
Well, I wanna know how much businesses, what are 10%, 20%, 15%, or
You got those numbers?
how many, you know, how many dollars worth of business you do a year?
Well, I can go add it up, I don't have it in my head.
You know how much, how many dollars worth of business comes out of our office? That information would be pretty good to know, just for all of us, really.
What, how do you mean to present it, you mean go get the things done? I can't get the percentage, because I don't know. It's all added up together.
Well, I know it is, but can you tell, do you have it, you can tell what comes out of the Holly office, I guess.
I've got her, at what she does.
And then you've got the total, or you've got what comes out of the Graham office, and then you've got a total of all your business, so it wouldn't be too difficult to figure what percentage it was hanging out there. And that would be a factor, could be a factor in
determining.
decision making. Whether that office maintained, they open or didn't stay open. You know, 5% of the business, only 5% come out of the Army office.
It'd be worth keeping open.
Be worth it to keep it open, but if 20% of the business deal, it's likely need to keep that open.
I can go run you a report of what we do, each week.
That would be something that would be very useful in making these kind of decisions.
Because it tells what we do, and it tells what she.
Do that for a whole month, or 2 months in a row. Or do the whole year, yeah. Just
I
do
can
that
go in there
whole
and
year.
run the report now for last year.
All that stuff's seasonal.
Okay. You do the whole year,
Whatever.
last year, that gives an idea then.
I can do one for the first, 5 months of this year. 5 months of last year.
Okay.
Stacy, are you saying it's worth subsidizing the office anyway?
Yeah, there's lots of people that go in there and use that office.
Even if it's being operated at a loss?
Sure, yeah. And the office itself's really not costing us anything, it's just the labor and,
Where is it, in the South Courthouse?
Well, there'll be a point there where, not need to stay open. It might just need to be open one day a week.
right, but there you go with employment.
Yeah, that cost us so much as we had to pay somebody to drive over there, drive back,
That'd be a
and
good
she was
decision.
short.
We need to find somebody over there.
If there wasn't,
They won't come for one
if
day
there
a
wasn't
week.
5%.
They won't come in one day a week?
Business activity.
Now, somebody,
No.
You wouldn't learn all that for one day a week. You've got $12 an
How
hour.
many dollars is that,
It wouldn't even be worth over
No.
It'd be too hard for somebody to move one
They
day a
couldn't
week.
catch on and
Nah,
remember
people wouldn't-
everything.
You gotta do this every day in order to
Yeah,
retain.
yeah. Well, I think they do a fair amount of business over there.
Do what?
They do a fair amount of business over
Some
there.
days she does, some days she might do one registration. I've had her to do one registration.
Like payday's gonna be in the week where people get paid
Yeah.
when their taxes.
Third of the month,
the
Social
last-
Security check.
The last of the month before all the taxes are due.
Yeah, it's seasonal and
23rd.
payroll.
I don't know, she may be working in the afternoon, I don't
Don't we have a revenue line for her office?
Becky gone?
know. She's big old gone.
She just
All
went.
up
all
together.
together, we had to,
Put it off.
take that from over there and divide it by what we made.
No way to code it different.
That's what I'd like to
Sure, we
put a
a
different.
subline into that
Well,
one.
we could pull a vendor line.
Well, obviously, the office is gonna have to take a vote. We'll-
She put it
I'm not gonna open it up.
Yeah, designate an A and a B,
It's too hard.
one of the two.
to do that. Like I say, they go online and they can mail it. That's too much
Well,
responsibility.
your line
on them.
days, you know, line days, it's gonna. 2 to 4 hours.
Benefit package is worth
Hard enough.
16.
You don't, we can't tell you that. We can't tell you nothing about all this.
You got it. You told me that was my office. I could run like I wanted to, so.
Mine was,
That's what it's
was
gonna
called
be.
unemployment.
Well, shut her down then.
What I could
You can do it.
do. 31 months and you knew it would take
They can make another decision then, man.
Okay, we'll take these things under consideration. You could get that information there, whether it's 6 months or a full year or 8 months or whatever.
Ann's going to look at some numbers, I think.
Yeah, Ann went to pull something that she had, I think, that Blake could figure it out.
Well, yeah. I'd like to see it stay open too, but I'd like to see what's going on.
Well, I don't mind it being open. It's just, this is ridiculous. I mean,
You've had 3 people since I've been here, Nancy, right? So it's not ridiculous.
Steve, we tell you how many of them there?
I don't care.
Well, what then? You don't care? Well,
Hire another one. We need it open over there. Tell them.
okay, what the new tax assessor comes in, they shut one straight down. Y'all have say four in there? It's just, you know, it's awful. It's when you can't keep nobody. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Sullivan. Come up here.
Money.
Hopefully mine will be faster. Because this is a 2 election year, not a 4 election, so this should be a little bit cheaper.
I noticed the numbers are a little bit less.
Let's even cut everything in half.
No, not everything.
Well, she cut a lot of it in half.
Yeah, I've tried to cut quite a bit of it
I've
down.
got your land on my desk, working on it, so,
Elections expense from 22.6 to 4,500.
but
That scares me if you're in there twiddling. I've made the commitment to you guys before that I try to run this as tight as I can. A lot of this is mandated that I have no control over. The little bit of wiggle that I do have, I try to keep it cheap. So, we use stuff till it wears out for the most part. Saying that, I'm gonna have to replace a bunch of signs because the wind has torn them up, and they were just little plastic, like campaign signs anyway, so it didn't take much. But for the most part, we should be pretty low this year. A lot of the temporary and election workers on that second line will be billed back to whatever entities have elections. I really just took the last 2 odd years and kind of averaged them out, because there's no telling how many of my 9 entities may have a May election. The elections expense, that 4,500, depending on how many entities run elections, I'll be able to build some of that back. Will only be out our cost for the gubernatorial election that comes in November. So, you know, I have to build it in as an expense, but we get some of it back on the back end. And then for some machines, I think this is the 3rd year we're paying on those, 2nd or 3rd year. Remember.
this will be the
Third,
second, I
second,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's a built-in cost that we assessed at the time we bought the machines. So, we did get new poll pads. Shirley, I think, loved them. They made my side a lot faster, a lot easier. I can do some reports and some cost benefit analysis. So that was helpful. I am keeping tabs on how much we're spending per hour as far as poll workers versus voter turnout. I think that's an interesting number to watch.
Yeah, that's a good cost to figure to look at.
Yeah. November, we will have extended hours for the weekend and 7 to 7s all that second week. We've already been given that petition and there's no wiggle in that. So that's an extra 35 hours of payroll that we have to take into account. So we cut where we can and we do what we have to with the rest. So
Voter expenses, you're down almost 90%. What's the deal there?
I don't have to do a mass mail out this year. So instead of sending out 12,000 voter registration cards, I can send out whatever updates are done.
But
So,
that's a number that will go up in a different election year.
yes, even years it goes to 4,000.
Yeah, they all.
Yeah. Everything's on an even year schedule. So in odd years it's great and in even years
I
it's
see
terrible.
that. So this budget's not always level.
No, it's never
It's
level.
up and down.
And, you know, should something crazy happen and the governor call a special election, it's not in this budget. I do not budget for that. I don't think it's fair to the taxpayer to.
Pay tax on the,
Yeah.
something may or may
Play
not
with my
happen.
crystal ball.
Yeah.
You know, told somebody the other day, my crystal ball's broken, so. Kind of fuzzy, kind of cloudy.
Somebody might, maybe on the break part of it.
There's 3 schools in there. One of them is to finish the SARA certification, and then the SOS and the association meetings are in there as well. Each one costs about $1,500. Just round it out. And then I've talked at different times. I am in that hallway by myself on a regular basis, where the building is still open, but I'm the only one on that floor. It's quite an uneasy feeling, especially when certain commissioners come by and bang on the door.
Certain commissioners, I don't know who she's talking about.
That main one down there.
I think
Mean with far end?
She hears things in her head.
That's the other thing, is this is a very creepy building when you're here by yourself. So there is a quote in there for a go keyless magnetic lock type thing with a release button.
Do you not have a pistol?
I'm not eligible to carry because I'm a polling place. My office is a polling place with open live ballots, and so I'm going to take that to call it a polling place, and I think that deems me ineligible, even though my 327 Magnum
Yes.
works just fine.
Says, yes, I do have a gun, but it's not with me in that office.
That's it. So, and quite honestly, should something happen and somebody walk in, and I've had it happen several times where people just walk in and they're right here before I even know they're in the room, I don't have time to reach for anything. Panic button, gun, etc. So, Travis and I talked about it when he was in there on election night. I have enough anxiety, so I don't need to add random people walking in and scaring me half to death to that.
So this would require permission for entry.
Yes, it would have like a ring system, like some of the other offices, where I could see who's at the door and could find out if they're asking directions to another office, or to borrow my pen for 15 minutes and sit in my office during lunch while I'm there by myself. Just some odd things happen in that room, but it would allow me to converse with somebody before I let them in the room.
Does that mean you'd have your door closed?
The glass door could stay open. It would have a magnetic lock at the top of it, in the way I'm envisioning it. So people would know I was in there, but I would also be able to see them without,
Sort of like it is upstairs in the district.
right, without having to make a whole lot of contact. And I know glass door's not gonna stop much, but it buys me a second or two.
Yeah. We, as far as the runoff election, we sectioned that off just a little bit the first time. These gals brought up that idea. and
Think it worked
I
great.
thought
I thought
it
it
was
worked great, didn't you?
It did.
We
And
come
good.
up with
Very
that
well.
because the lady walking
Better,
in just
much
ran
improved.
on us.
there will be a lot of changes before the November election. As I go, I learn. I've implemented some things since the primary. I've implemented things since the runoff. There will be a lot of new check-in procedures on election night. I have had a deputy with me for the last at least the last year or so. At least one deputy, if not a couple. They both assist in security and they help bring in equipment. They've gone and run short errands for me. I have 2 hands and 2 feet, and so I'm doing the best I know how, but that extra little bit of security helps a lot. But yeah, like you said, we cordoned off that hall quite a bit, and that helped. And so hopefully things will continue to go more smoothly.
Got the video board cured up a little bit. Looks like that worked real good during
So far, so good.
There's a couple of little
Signal
changes.
problem?
Yes, the vending machines and the way they're wired.
Interfering with that?
Mhm.
Bluetooth signal?
It was a mess.
Yeah,
But some-
it continues to be a surmountable
No way to
mess.
shield that stuff?
We think we've taken care of it. There's a few little glitches that I think we're probably gonna work out, but, it went great this last time.
I understand you're dealing with a lot of impatience on election nights and people want to stick their head in your office and somehow hurry you up or
Well, we had.
find out to be the first one to know.
They couldn't this time. and it
Yeah,
was
they
much
couldn't
better.
this time.
Good. And they shouldn't be.
And again, that's part of the reason for security. In fact, I turned around and looked at Travis on primary night and I said, get them out of my office now.
Hurried numbers tend to be of lesser value than numbers that take.
And that's absolutely accurate. My job requires that I'm accurate, it requires that I'm somewhat focused, but I also have 30 people walking in and out at any given time, phone ringing, that sort of thing. I've finally gotten the news channels to stop calling me every 10 minutes. That was, Shirley can tell you, it's really hard to run numbers when your phone's ringing.
you're not telling us you get distracted.
I do. I can tolerate quite a bit, but it does get wild at times.
So your ADD kicks in?
Yeah. You have 30 people stomping your office and then tell me.
Oh, one at a time's plenty.
Yeah, and they're all anxious too. I tell people all the time, I'm just as stressed out as
You're
any of the
anxious,
candidates.
I broke down a ball one time.
I
That work?
generally end up
Yes.
throwing
It
up.
worked down there, huh?
No, it,
Don't you feel better?
well, I don't know, they just said, oh my gosh.
Hey, I may try that.
Cheryl, you think computer lease and stuff will change this year budget?
I don't know, because she doesn't have that same net.
I don't have any, I'm not connected to anything anybody else is building.
Data maintenance, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
what
all
that-
under us.
Okay, do you have
Courthouse
copier?
security?
I'm
You
sorry.
got a copier?
Does that work for her?
I have a
Money out of courthouse security, would that work for that door?
copier, yes.
Oh, I'm sure we
She doesn't have the least copier.
Yeah, I don't have a
She
lease
doesn't have
copier. I have a
budget?
desktop, printer, copier, scanner, fax,
That's all you
all.
need, you don't need a good one.
If there's anything big to run, she'd come up here and.
Yes,
we'll
I
charge
come
it to
up,
the judge.
I come up if I have a big run, but I
Why
don't
did you
stick
ask
around.
that? Why'd you ask that?
Because of the budget. You got $1,500 on the copier.
Is that a full total
Please purchase
install and
mine.
everything, $730?
Well,
Certain tax
the way I talked to the guy, and this has been a little while, and I might have slept an hour or two since then, but, it's supposed to be kind of plug and play, where you plug in a piece into the outlet, and then there's also a piece that fits into the door. I know a good electrician if we have to have one, but I feel fairly confident that the guys can do this, or we can find somebody within the county that can run a couple of screws and maybe a little easy wire.
Okay, is this anything like what the JP has going on?
It's similar.
A lot.
Okay, is there any difference in cost?
Theirs is quite a bit cheap, I mean, quite a bit more expensive, because I think theirs runs through their telephone line.
It is, it's part of their phone set. Their screen is on their phone.
This is similar to what we had at Virginia's house. It was just as good, it took no money, and if like on election night, I know it's gonna be a busy night, I can unplug the thing out of the wall and take off the magnetic part of it, and people can use the door to bring in equipment and such.
You got a keypad with it or anything?
I don't think, I don't remember if it was a keypad or if it was a
Card swap.
wild thing, yeah. It's got a crash door piece so that I can get out. There's an intercom system.
What's this deal here?
That's like the video piece so that I can see who's at the door and talk to them before they come all the way in.
How do you get in?
That's what I was looking for. I don't remember if it was a key swipe or oh, this looks like there's a keypad, maybe with this.
Or a little video screen, but
Well, it looks like a keypad and everything, that video. Yeah.
Comes with all this on
Don't
the
say
big door,
keys.
the wooden door, nothing.
Wires, doors, and electronic strap.
Glass door, top of the door.
Okay, but you're gonna need a video screen. You still got the glass door there.
Yeah, because I can't hear you if you're talking.
Hey, on that thing, like, if you weren't here, could you look on your phone and see who?
I think so. I think that was
See
part
that, I
of
mean,
it.
that would be good to have.
And that would be handy, you know, for.
You know, the Ring that does that.
Yes.
Martha's got the Ring.
And
What,
and
app
that's
on
part
the
of what I was looking at.
Right, I put it in the district, out of the district judges, and
And they see.
it was like $69.
Yeah, it's not expensive to do something like that, and I'm perfectly happy with something like that too. I got this particular quote really more for a jumping off point to get us talking about it. We installed something fairly similar at our church building not long ago. We don't have the ring system necessarily, but we have the magnetic locks and the entry points and that sort of thing. I'm scrappy, but I probably couldn't take somebody down very easily.
does that mean everybody comes by and visit, gonna be buzzed in?
Yeah, they'll probably have to at least let me know they're coming.
But if you don't want them in, you say, go away.
Yeah, that's it, go away.
So there's a doorbell out there?
Yeah, it would be a doorbell.
Go away.
Because like I said, I've had several instances of people come in and literally be on top of my desk before I knew they were even in the door.
So if they won't bring you mail-in ballots, so buzz you in?
They're supposed to mail them my ballots anyway, so. If I could get
That was
people
the
to
irony of that
understand
statement.
Get people to understand. So,
I've had people come in right there, just like that too, then there's somebody come to all of a sudden they're standing right that door.
yeah. I had a man a couple of weeks ago come in and ask to borrow a pen, and then he made himself at home in my office for 15 minutes. And I was quite uncomfortable because I had no idea who this person was or why he was there.
Yeah, we're fond of calling this people's house.
Just being step right outside the door there. So
No, I didn't really want to get into altercations with people.
I guess taxpayers think they own the place.
I've been asked for copies in the last couple of weeks for eviction notices, which I have nothing to do with ever. So,
We have adult probationers come in our office and we'll go one floor up.
Yeah, I get a lot of,
every day.
I get a lot of
It's
directions.
in the same location, in it one floor.
One
Right.
floor.
I get a lot of people asking for directions.
Scary.
I've threatened to put travel agent on my front door, so, you know.
Building information.
Building information, travel agent. So, like I said, I'm perfectly happy to look for other options, but this was something I just kind of found in digging and.
Well, something simple, this simple at that price is, I don't think.
I don't care necessarily brand names, I'm looking more at
I don't
price.
think we need to add it to the budget though,
Do 15.
since it's the building.
Way 10,000.
That's not my decision to make.
How durable is it? How durable is it? Does it last really last?
I think so, I mean, with his, I mean, I don't get a
That's a
ton
good
of traffic.
question. That's a good question.
I don't get a ton of traffic. There are days where I see the mailman and the maintenance guys, and that's all. There are other days where I think I need a revolving door. It's a lot like what we were talking about with Nancy's stuff. It just depends on what day it is and what's going on in the world. As far as durability, I don't know how long it will last.
Does the jail have any problem with their doors? Does the jail have any problem with their doors?
Well, we
I mean, those things lock and unlock 100 times a day.
We're actually having problems right now, but it's 10 or 11 years old.
That's good, that's a good life though.
It is a constant. So there's a lot of difference.
I think the wear and tear on mine would be much different.
System than this too is
Oh, I mean, it's a lot more expensive.
Plug it on.
mechanism. It's not a magnetic, I guess it's a magnetic thing, but it.
I bet it's a bolt, though.
Magnetically closes the latch.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a,
I can imagine what that one's like.
the one that we installed at the church building, it does latch something along the way, I feel sure. But it's a super heavy duty.
You just want something to slow them down, hesitate for a while.
Exactly, I do. I want some warning as to who's walking in my office. Especially after we had all the kerfuffle a couple of weeks ago. It made me nervous, I'm not gonna lie.
But you're as secure as our school children.
Yes, I am. And as a mom, that
Bothers you too? Okay.
I don't need any more anxiety here.
Okay, no more interested in line 573.
That is the payment on the voting machines.
Yeah, that's constant, there's nothing else in there.
No, that is the licensing fees for the poll books and the payment for the voting machines.
Those are fixed expenses,
Those are, I think we paid
at least until it's paid off.
less than $400 less. So, it's not something that's going away for 3 to 4 more years.
Starting spot.
But it is, the voters have told us they like the machines. Poll workers have told us how much they like the machines. I feel much more secure with the information coming out of the machines. I feel like they're going to turn on when I plug them in. I'm not spending a ton of money on maintenance. In fact, everything right now is still under warranty, so we're doing really well there. Hart has been more than accommodating with anything we have asked. If something seems to not be working exactly right, they have taken care of it and sent me a new one, and life goes on. So
Keep plenty of extra batteries.
I do, and those are minimal expense. They're
Less costly than the previous ones.
they're not much different, 50, 60 bucks a piece, but they have longer lifetimes and they are rechargeable, which is something very different from the last ones. They're a lot like the ones in your cell phone, so not big double D packets. So most of my costs are fixed as far as that kind of stuff goes. But
This primary election, the parties, they have the initial cost of the election.
they pay election day, they pay supplies, and they pay ballot production, and I can charge them $5 per machine for rental. There's very little I can pay, or I can ask for.
Okay. What about the early voting expense?
Early voting is always the county.
Always on the county, regardless of what is.
The May local elections, that is charged back to the cities and schools, but the party elections, early voting is always us. And so that's part of why I kept the cost benefit analysis on the voter turnout, especially for those extended hours, because those extended hours get really expensive in a hurry. I'm talking $10, $12, $15 per voter. Those Sunday afternoons are bad. Not a lot I can do about it. I did find during a webinar the other day that I could possibly cut back to 2 people during early voting if I know it's going to be slow. And if they get busy, I'll move to where they are. That's part of the fun. So this is a very fluid situation when you try to save money and take care of voters all at the same time. So
From year to date, you've only been reimbursed $2,800, and you invoiced for those other elections
I just
already?
invoiced the other day. I was waiting on all my final bills, some publication bills, some
How much ballpark figure did you invoice for?
I invoiced for, look, I have a report. I was so excited. I anticipated. Looks like I invoiced for somewhere around $17,000. Payroll was about $5,500 for those elections. And then each entity had a $1,500 bill for their ballot production. So, and that was 4 entities. I have not done primary finance yet. That is on my agenda for the week because I just finished getting all those numbers in. So the state is now paying rather than the parties, so we should see money turn around pretty quickly.
And then about 10,000 more. Think you'll get it.
From the state, yes. That's the good part of having the state pay is the state will pay.
It's all I'm good.
Okay.
We're gonna hack in on them
You make me so nervous. You're whittling now.
He's just one of us, the rest of us will too, just.
I know, that's bothers me, Mr. Calculator, Mr. Banker, and Mr. All right.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank y'all.
I just went around this weekly report for last week. Okay, this is what Laura did last week, but that was a busy week. We're always busy the first.
870691.
And we did the 6,000.
8706, and you did how much here?
60,000.
60,000? 68,000, that's about 15%.
But now that was the busy week.
I understand, that's a high.
Now if you don't run one, like for the third week,
Right.
then
You guys always do around 60 here?
Oh.
Is that an average week?
it just, you never know.
I understand, but what's an average week? Yeah. It's kind of like running a restaurant, you never know
You never
what's your average. Because you got to base your future on what your averages are.
Okay, about 12.5%.
Now for that week, this was the total of everything, our office for 6 months, including, it's not broken down, it's just, it tells everything that we did. The fee at the very bottom, that 1 million and something dollars. That was week, that's 6 months last year. It was.
$1 million plus for 6 months.
So you average probably 2 million running through your office a year.
I mean, and the sales tax alone sometimes is $2 million. That's separated from what the registration and everything. Which is, it won't break it out of the year, I have to do each week in order
This
to,
is not broken out in branch.
no, this is 6 months. This is both of them. What I have to do on that is run it every week. I like to do the bond.
Do you have a file of all those reports in it? Do you have a file with weekly reports that are already in it? Do you keep those weekly reports? So it'd just be a matter of going through 52 weeks?
So anyway, there it is. Anything else?
No,
Good number.
that's good. Good information.
Thanks.
They average 50,000 a week. That would be,
We got to, you need to get with her to get.
Captivate the bird, look on your face.
She knows
And I also have a connection to Texas Workforce that I can get with her.
And Lauren might know somebody.
yeah, I like the
You
local
want me to put
knowledge.
it on the
so much.
website?
My wife would love to have a job, those hours, but.
I
What
work
are the
till,
hours?
Conflict.
like 9 to
1:30?
1:30 or 2.
Every day.
Like being here.
Yeah.
But I
But
guess you
with-
break for lunch.
They just
With
like
benefits.
Well, that's
Get
why
Wow.
I'm going
So,
to
yeah,
Texas.
and
that
with
they
it,
would
Might
grant-
take that off. Just have to
That's $12 an
shut
hour
up, not saying.
Uh-huh.
With insurance.
with insurance.
I know it's-
Dang, that's a good deal.
It is a good deal. That's what I was
You'd
sitting
like
there
to do
thinking.
that, wouldn't you, Shirley?
Yeah.
Fire to fire.
Not where I live, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So she comes back, leaves for lunch and comes back an hour.
For an hour, yeah.
See, they need to work on through that hour.
Yeah, I could.
I'd add an hour to the day, just let them off at 1:30, let them work through.
I think
Lunch.
Nancy was worried about
She's afraid
security.
you're gonna get robbed because that's the only one in the building.
That she's gonna
Which
get.
they have panic buttons just like we
She
do.
claims it's not.
Well, I don't see why
They
anybody.
can do more business during the lunch hour than they'll do
Well, that's when-
one. and
Absolutely. My offices were always
And
open during lunch for business.
she knows that from down there, that they're
That's
very
one of
busy.
the-
2.6 million, based on her figure, like there, if they do 50,000 a week. You know? And if that office does, let's say, did 8,000 last week, if they do 5,000 a week. 30,000, that's, like I said, about 12%. 12%.
When's the next budget meeting, Judge? Will it be on the 25th or before? The next budget?
Next budget meeting,
Is it on the 25th or are we having one?
before then.
Yeah, no, I don't have a copy of that calendar.
I will be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to the GOP state convention, so if anybody needs me,
This week?
Yeah.
So is that other girl already gone from?
No, she told Nancy, 2 weeks, or she said, I'll give you 3 if you need it. Stan is handling things himself for right now, so.
So they're the only 2 officers in that building?
But the police
Adult
department is
probation.
right there.
And, yeah, and
April
isn't
18th,
the
25th.
DPS in there?
No,
18th, 25th, and the 9th.
18.
The constable took an office over there too.
Yes.
I won't be here for the budget meeting on the 25th, but Marcia will be here in my place.
That's a regular commissioner's court meeting.
Yes, sir. Couldn't be helped.
Colorado?
Yes, Mom and Daddy's going to Friends, so.
Wow.
For some reason, they don't want to take the kids.
See, I don't know, that sent you an email. The preliminary,
We got it right here.
printed out, the one that I thought I might see.
I didn't see it sent one yet. We wanna work on any of this first part?
Looks like, estimated, maybe about, 5 million.
More? You see what the freeze adjustment tax was?
Freeze adjustment factor.
963,487,000.
Is that more than last year?
Last year was 625.
Yeah, got it.
About 50% more?
925.
Oh, 925, okay. So it's 40,000 more?
40,000.
Yeah.
Million.
Million. That is something. And you see, that's the thing about this, it's gonna continue to increase every year because that's, we're becoming a,
Yeah, she's been out.
Over 65 society.
yeah, retirement community.
Yeah, that's not good for a retirement community, is it?
She gets Stan's office, she's still gonna be gone.
Well, yeah, I mean, she said the hours are 9:30 to 1:30.
Is that right?
What are the hours, Nancy? I don't.
That's hard. Nancy, what are the hours?
What are the hours over Dolly?
8 to 12 and then from 1 to 2:30. Here's my complaint. She did 31,000, we did 319.
Is that when, what time? Night?
Hopefully,
Month, night?
looks like that'd be a good job for somebody who's like retired or semi-retired. And I don't mind keeping going at lunch. It wasn't me, it was the people that I hired. They didn't want to be over there by themselves. Well, I just tell them,
That's part of the job.
that's part of the job. You're open
But then they
during
quit.
the
Then what do you do?
Well,
So they didn't
tell
do
them
the job to
before
begin
you
with.
hire them. Tell them before you hire them.
Tell them better Super 6, better Circle K.
We got the 9%.
It's just, you know,
Yeah, 9% what I
it's just,
got.
it fluctuates. I can't.
Steve Johnson,
Yeah, when you hire people, Nancy, you just say, here's the job, here's what it's gonna require, and here's what it's like. So if you want it okay, say no, go hire, go look for somebody else. Just keep looking.
Hire them, they work 6 months.
Well, they'll lie to you. That's okay. You can't do that. I mean, we have the same problem with crew hands too.
Yeah, they had to hire them.
It's easy to quit this time of year when temperatures are 108.
No kidding. Hey, that's one, another selling point, it's on the inside.
On the inside. And it's there every time they come to work because the county's not affected by oil prices or recessions or, you know, the job is consistent.
I would like to sit in the camera, see what.
Do that. It's easy enough to do. You can put it on your
I
phone.
would like to know if they're, you know, are they in the office? I can't go up there.
Well,
Are
you can
they,
put one in. I've got one in my office. I can look at it right now. You know, I'm talking to those guys and they say they're out in the shop working, I can tell whether or not they're really there.
Camera?
Camera, yeah. We put one at the extension, up front, the extension office, and
I had one at my house.
as long as you don't put audio on it, and then if you put audio, you gotta have an agreement with the employee.
no, I don't want that. I just want to see that they're in the office and they're working.
Right,
Because I can't go there every day,
sure,
see what time they come to work.
exactly right. And people will only do what you hold them to.
I'm cold.
Are you?
Yes. Do you need anything else?
Strange.
No, that's strange. All those chew bumps.
No, most people don't think you're hot.
Man, you're so tired. Because I'm running every
That's
week.
monthly report here.
Now I can go get my, because I'm running every week.
Are you getting colder as you get older?
I've always been cold.
I've been cold
If
now.
you want to come down sometime, we'll go over.
Bring you a little sweater.
I've got one out in the car. We're gonna break the lunch or what?
See what the
It's
name
not the journey.
Oh.
Probably, we maybe, we're gonna adjourn for lunch, or we're gonna continue to work, or we're gonna adjourn for lunch and then come back, or what? I didn't know if you wanna go. We can get started. Expenses, or some of the revenues, you wanna work on revenues and stuff?
Yeah, we have worked on revenues. Oh, I don't care. I'll do whatever y'all want to do. That's
Better
right.
get as much out of her as we can.
You better.
Well, if you're financial folks, let's financial folks get together to get a preliminary on revenue.
Okay. John,
We've got
we can sit
we've
down.
got a preliminary value that we can use for tax purposes there. I think the certified value due to be in on the 25th of July. I don't matter what
It usually doesn't vary a whole lot off of the preliminary.
25th of July, seems like that's on. I think that's on.
It's like a Tuesday or Wednesday,
It's a Wednesday.
because we go that
That's the
TCDRS.
last Wednesday of July. Last Wednesday of July?
There.
That's all else, Wednesday. And then we're pegged on the 7th to calculate the rates. David Wheeler.
Yes. What time on the 8th? The 7th?
That's,
Was it in the afternoon?
That's Tuesday.
I may have written it down.
She can make your head swim, can't she?
She's fun to
Yeah,
listen
she's
to.
awesome.
She's a pretty smart lady.
Anytime
She
she
did
was
training
in-
over at the appraisal district for us, doing through the school formulations for taxes. They've got it bogged down.
That woman's got it.
She knows it all, doesn't she?
She's spoken at the auditors conference several, well, she did in Austin in May, she did for my little thing out here at the Wildcatter, and, I mean, and then someone else spoke this last time, and she knew her, and I'm trying to think if she had worked with her. But she
I
said
talked to her
how
about
was-
coming through all these specific formulations for taxes and stuff. I said, but you're starting with arbitrary numbers. So, I mean,
Her mind is sharp.
change
She's
the number
worked
on
for the
the front
comptroller.
end, change the number.
Yeah. She's a smart.
But it ends up at the right one.
Yeah.
Well, thing is though, you don't start with the right one. You know? I mean, Austin doesn't know everything.
Really?
They tell you what they want that number to be.
That's right.
Yeah,
And she starts with that number they tell her to be. And
yeah,
then they hold you to the one at the other end.
yeah. Yeah, but just what you're doing.
You're working it backwards, yeah.
Mandates, right
It's
there.
on the mandates, yeah. You know? They want the taxes to be right there, so they don't have to send as much money down this way.
Right. There's a means to the end. Means to their madness.
Madness it
Well,
is.
let's go get us about tea, and then we'll come back and do a little bit more on it. Go from there. We just will dive into it.
Now, I don't have copies of the requests I have for y'all yet from everybody else. But we work on like
Yeah,
non-department.
let's work on all the stuff that we work on, and we'll get that part started.
Okay.
We'll come back and.
Is that what all this is, Cheryl, right here?
That is the budget.
Yes, that's what we'll be
And-
writing in on.
Marcia, do I need to make you a copy of this,
Sign, you gotta get the sign.
John, you wanna push the
of that
ball, bud?
agreement?
Which one? I've got the original.
The memorandum of
I've got the
What's
original.
John, you'll hit the adjourn button over there?
You got it?
Oh, we go.
We're gonna go take a lunch break and come back.
They wanted.
12:30. Well, you wanna come back at 1:15 or so, or? No, it can't be. About 1:30, I guess.
I don't want to stay too late. We've got just one presentation. Well, we've got a few presentations, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some, I just don't have copies. We might can work.
What do you want to do?
We can work on that too if you want
Okay.
to.
Want
I'll go drink a
recess?
lunch.
Recess.
So lunch break.
Break lunch.
1:30.
Who's gonna make that motion?
I did.
One more second.